that's not what Trump says, right? Here's what he said about loving your enemies last fall at the memorial service for Charlie Kirk.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry.
You can see what happened there. The speechwriters, Trump's speechwriters, put the Christian message on the teleprompter. Essentially, don't hate your enemies. And Trump looked at that message, and then he turned away from the teleprompter and said, no, I hate my opponents. Jesus says you should empathize with your opponents. You should treat them the way you would want to be treated. Here's the verse. Do to others what you would have them do to you. And here's another verse where he says you should be merciful. And he says you should forgive other people when they sin against you. But Trump says the opposite. He bragged at the prayer breakfast about humiliating his opponents. He said it made him feel great.
Beating these lunatics was incredible, right? What a great feeling. Winning every swing state, winning the popular vote.
Trump doesn't just love winning. He loves watching other people suffer. Again, these are his own words at the Museum of the Bible about Joe Biden.
And his administration was one of the meanest we've ever had, and that's why they're out of here. And people, they're having a hard time getting jobs, and that's the way it should be.
They can't get jobs, and Trump loves it. Jesus said, don't think that way. Here's one of his most famous teachings from the Sermon on the Mount. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, he says, turn to them the other cheek also. But Trump, again, says the opposite. Here's what he said at the Museum of the Bible.
You know, when you have horrible killings, you have to take horrible actions.
And here's what he said at the prayer breakfast about his bombing of Islamic militants in Nigeria.
When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President Trump. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's the way it is.
Now, you might say to yourself, well, he's talking about war, right? Okay, he's advocating violence and he's committing violence, but he's doing it against killers, right? But I want you to hear what Trump said at the Museum of the Bible about violence, not in war, but in your own home.
Things that take place in the home they call crime. You know, they'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this was a crime, see?
I'm sorry, we just got to pause right there. Jesus literally said, if you get slapped on the cheek, turn the other cheek. But Trump says, basically, if you get slapped by your spouse, you can slap her right back. In fact, you can slap her first. It's just a little fight with the wife. Couple more things. Here's what Jesus says about money. Don't store up treasures on earth, he says. You can't serve both God and money. But Trump makes it pretty clear that he does serve money. And it's not just stealing the oil from Venezuela. Here's Trump at last year's prayer breakfast talking about his energy secretary.
The real cause of heartburn is